Hello everyone, in this lesson we are going to identify angles that are formed in parallel lines using an intersecting transversal. And in this do now we are talking about a graphic organizer and all of the things that we know as far as prior knowledge goes about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Okay, so parallel lines are lines that never intersect. They are straight lines that never cross. Perpendicular lines, on the other hand, do intersect and they form 90-degree angles. When we draw parallel lines, it looks like these right here. They are straight lines that never cross, never intersect. And the perpendicular side, they basically look like an X and Y, like the axes. So if we have an X-axis and a Y-axis and they cross, they form 90-degree angles. Describe a real-world example of parallel lines, rails on tracks, streets, and buildings. Intersections, as far as the, say like that four-way stop that you think of, or any intersection for that matter. And then the X and Y axes that describe the perpendicular line when they form right angles. And that's basically it. Lines in a plane that never intersect. Remember, we say that these are parallel lines. All right, so lines that are parallel from the figure to the right, basically we're talking about CD. Those are parallel. That is parallel to EF. So when we're looking for parallel lines, we're just going to put CD and not in highlighter. And then right on the top, we're just going to write that little symbol for line and EF. And they are parallel. Long lines that form a right angle are perpendicular lines. So we are talking about right here perpendicular and perpendicular right angles. So lines blank and blank are perpendicular to line segment AB. So I'm just going to put that down, perpendicular. So lines CD and EF are perpendicular to line segment AB. Line segment AB should have a line on the top like that, like a little line right there with no arrows because it is a line segment. All right, so this is everything that we have learned, and we're going to kind of fill in some blanks here. In your groups, answer the questions. When two lines intersect, they form a pair of vertical angles. Very important. Understand that two lines intersect, they form vertical angles. Vertical angles are across from each other. And they are congruent. Very, very important. They're equal. So I'm just going to put the word equal, the same. They are the same measure. All right, define the word congruent. I know that two angles are congruent when you see this symbol. So congruent means exactly the same. Okay, so I just put it there, and now we know that congruent means equal to each other. So now we have a pair of vertical angles. So I'm going to highlight the pair, and directly right across from each other. So 1 and 2, there are vertical angles. They are equal to each other. They're congruent. 3 and 4 are also equal to each other. They are congruent. Remember, this right here is an obtuse angle. Obtuse angles are equal, an obtuse angle and another obtuse angle that are across from each other angles. So this one is obtuse. Obtuse is greater than 90. This also is obtuse. It is greater than 90. Going down to 2 and 1, this is acute. Less than 90. And then look at the vertical angle. Vertical to 2 is 1. That is also acute. Less than 90. So you know when you put the angles in and you actually draw like what that angle is in, like say if it's like 30 degrees, angle 1, angle 2 would have to be 30 degrees. They're equal, they're vertical angles. So name the two pairs of vertical angles. We are going to name angle 1 and angle 2. Vertical angles. Angle 3 and angle 4. Vertical angles. Name 4 pairs of supplementary angles. Supplementary angles add up to be 180 degrees. So 2 or more. So it doesn't have to be just 2. In this case, it is just 2. It's 2 or more angles that add up to be 180 degrees. So that means if supplementary angles are 180 degrees, that means it probably, if they're next to each other, they look like a straight line. You remember, straight lines create a half a circle. Half a circle is 180 degrees. So we're just going to go along, and you see angle 1 and angle 2 right here. Angle 1 and angle 3, sorry. That is a straight line. Straight lines equal 180 degrees. So angle 1 and 3. And then a straight line going this way right here. You see it, 3 and 2, straight line, angle 3 and angle 2. Then you have, we had 1 and 3, and then we also have angles 1 and 4. You see them right there, straight lines, 180 degrees. And then we have this way, going this way, you're talking about, there's the half circle, 2 and 4. All of those angles they add up to be 180 degrees. Just remember, complementary equals 90 degrees. So C equals 90 and S equals 180. In the alphabet, C comes first and S comes second. In the number, on a number line, 90 comes first and 180 comes second. It's just a way to remember complementary C, link it up with 90, and then supplementary S, link it up with 180. All right, so here's our first question. Angle 1 has been replaced with 60 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight this 60. If my highlighter works, that would be good. So 60 degrees. And then they're asking, okay, what angle is vertical to that? We're going to add, they're asking about the measures of all the different angles, but what angle is vertical to that one. And so vertical right across from is angle 3, and I'm going to put that in. Just remember, write the angle down. Angle 3 is 60 degrees. These are vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent, and that's about it. Now we have to get angles 2 and 4. Remember, angle 3 is an acute angle. It should be 60 degrees. It should be less than 90. So angle 2 and angle 4 are not. They are supplementary. So that means, I'm sorry, they are obtuse. So that means it should be greater than 90 degrees. Well, this is part of a straight line, angle 2 and angle 3. So we're just going to go over here and put 180 minus 60. And 180 minus 60 is 120. So we have 120 for angle 2, and I'm going to put that directly in. If angle 2 is 120, look what's directly across from 2 is 4. Those are vertical angles, 120 degrees. So I'm going to put 120 degrees here, and it should be, because that's an obtuse angle, it's a big angle, greater than 90. And this is 120 as well. And that's basically it. So just taking a look at these two questions, quickly find all the missing angles. And just remember, when you're finding the angles, just remember to put in the angle measure right in the diagram. Just write it. So angle 2 is 120 degrees. It is opposite and across from the 120. They're both obtuse angles. Then we're going to take 180 minus 120 to get the angle 1 and 3. So that is 60 degrees. And angle 1 is 60. Angle 3 is 60. Angle 4 is 132. The first thing you do is put 132 degrees in. Angle 1 is the same as that. It's across from. These are vertical angles. Then to get angle 2 and angle 3, you take 180, because they are supplementary angles, 132. Just remember to just be safe and put it into your calculator. So we're going to clear that out, and we're going to put 180 minus 132, and it should be 48 degrees, and it is 48 degrees. Those are acute angles. And angle 2 is also 48 degrees. And that is basically all you have to do for vertical angles. For this, we are just going to go over quickly what the definitions and the vocabulary here that we have. A transversal is this dark red line, and I'm highlighting it in green. That is, it's called a transversal. The parallel lines are, I wanted to do that in a different color. There it is. The parallel lines are right here, and the transversal cuts the parallel lines, or intersects the parallel lines, to create 8 angles. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. It's basically 8 angles. Meet are parallel. Vertical angles are called basically kissing angles. They meet directly in the middle. So I'm just going to put a dot right here and a dot right here. Meet in the middle. So vertical angles meet in the middle. And when they meet in the middle, basically you're saying, okay, they meet right in the middle, and A and D. So angles A and D are vertical. And then we have B and C up here. And then we have down here, meet in the middle, E and H. and F and G. All right, so they meet in the middle. Those angles are congruent. We're going to skip to alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are across from each other, inside, because they're interior, and across. So alternate interior angles are inside the parallel lines. So they're inside the parallel lines. C and F. They're inside the parallel lines. Right there and there. Right across from each other and inside. Just like this. And then D and E. Inside and across from each other. Right, alternate exterior, outside, and across. So A, you're talking about A and H. Notice that they are outside and across from each other, outside the parallel lines, and across from each other, that those are alternate exterior angles. B and G, another pair of alternate exterior angles, outside the parallel lines and across from each other. Let me go back to corresponding. Corresponding is in the same location. And we studied corresponding angles when we were talking about the two, like say two figures that were the same, and we used triangles basically for a lot of it. So if we're talking about two triangles, just remember corresponding angles, just like that, corresponding angles are in the same location. We've said that a number of times, where the corresponding angles would be in the same location. So if just by chance you have a right angle here in the smaller triangle, the right angle here would be equal to that right angle. They're both equal to 90 degrees. This angle right here would equal this one because they are corresponding angles in the same location if they're similar figures. All right. And then this angle here, I'm going to put two arcs, is equal to this angle because they are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are equal to each other, and they are in the same location. This is the same thing, same location. So I just basically say, okay, I have a pair of 4 students sitting in this pod right here, this group, and then this group down here is a different set of 4 students, but they're in that same basic, they're sitting in the same way. So if they're basically sitting in that same, that same way, that means they're in the same location as the top students. All right. So let me just say the student that's sitting in A on the top, in the top group, which student is in the same location in the bottom group? Well, we have E. This student here is in the top left. This student here is also in the top left. B is in the top right. That means the same location is in the top right. That's F. D is in the bottom right. Same location, bottom right. C is in the bottom left. G is in the bottom left. Same location, corresponding angles. All right, I have another video that you can basically look at where I go through all of the angle terminology and everything. So watch that video, and it'll help clear things up a lot. All right, a line that crosses 2 or more lines is a transversal. AB is the transversal here. All right, once that transversal crosses the parallel lines, it forms 8 angles. The angles are not different in size. 4 of them are the same, and the other 4 are the same. 4 angles between the 2 angles, they're interior angles. Remember, alternate interior angles are inside and across from each other. So 3 and 6 are alternate interior, 4 and 5 are alternate interior. So just remember, the interior angles are inside the parallel lines. Exterior angles are outside the parallel lines, and that's all this is saying. Alternate angles are on opposite sides of the transversal, and they are congruent. So, like I said before, 3 and 6 are alternate interior angles. 4 and 5 are alternate interior angles. 1 and 8 are alternate exterior angles, and 2 and 7 are alternate exterior angles. Corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal, and they are congruent, and they're in the same location. So 1 and 5, like I said before, same location. 3 and 7 corresponding. 2 and 6 corresponding. 4 and 8 corresponding. Just remember, I don't have it here, but vertical angles meet in the middle. So if they meet right directly there. 1 and 4 are vertical, 2 and 3 are vertical. 5 and 8 are vertical, 6 and 7 are vertical. So if you take a look at this here, and these are the notes that we basically take. Remember, alternate interior are inside and across. So I highlighted the inside and across from each other, those alternate interior angles. Vertical angles, again, the red dots, the green dots are right across from each other. The red dots down here, right across from each other, meeting in the middle, vertical angles. Alternate exterior are outside and across, right like that, outside and across, the greens and the reds. Corresponding is the same location. All right, just remember, same location, the red dots linking up, the green, and then the 2 blues on this side. Supplementary add up to be 180 degrees. It could be 2 or more angles, and they do not have to be next to each other. So obtuse angles are supplementary angles are 1 obtuse and 1 acute. So remember, in this case, if you have an obtuse angle and an acute angle, they are supplementary. If you're picking 2 obtuse angles, they are not going to be supplementary angles in this case. All right. If you're picking 2 acute angles, they're not going to be supplementary. All right. Because remember, they have to add up to be 180 degrees. So realize this obtuse angle and this acute angle, they make 180 degrees. This obtuse angle and this acute angle, they make 180 degrees. They are supplementary angles. So let's get to our first question. This angle right here is 124 degrees, and I want you to realize, okay, every obtuse angle is 124 degrees. Every larger angle that looks like the one that is here, this big, long angle there, large angle there, is 124 degrees. Every large angle is 124. Every small angle is not. So across from the 124 is 3. That is 124. Down here, do you see the obtuse angles? There's 2 obtuse. That's 124. And 7, look, the large angle, 124. All right. The reason why these are congruent is because these are vertical angles. They meet in the middle. These are alternate interior angles, 3 and 6. Alternate interior angles are equal to each other. Those are 124. And then these are vertical, 6 and 7, 124. So how do you find angle 1? This is part of a straight line. You can see the straight line right here. So we're going to take 180. That's our number, minus 124. We're going to grab the calculator and do 180 minus 124. Once we get our answer, we get 56 degrees. Once we get that, put the 56 in for 1. Once it's in for the measure of angle 1, then you could see that you have all of the smaller measurements, smaller angle measurements. So angle 1 is an acute angle. Look how small it is. Angle 4 is an acute angle. It's the same thing. It's right across from each other. They're vertical angles. Number 5, angle 5 is an acute angle. That's 56 degrees also. Angles 4 and angle 5 are alternate interior angles. Angles 5 and angle 8 are also small angles. So they're 56 degrees. And then that's it. All right. That is everything. So let's go on to the next question. We're going to talk about this. Find all missing angles. So here's an acute angle. They give you 40. There's 3 other acute angles. There's small angles. So put them in from 40 degrees to C. That's 40 degrees, small angle. Then all the way over here, this is a small angle. 40 degrees, they're acute angles. And then G is an acute angle, small, it's 40 degrees. Then what do you do to find the large angles? This is a straight line. Straight lines equal 180. You take 180 minus 40, put it into your calculator, and you get 140 degrees. It makes sense because that's an obtuse angle. 140 degrees is angle A. Do you see 3 other obtuse angles? Yes, you do. B, right across from it, vertical angle, is also 140 degrees. Then alternate interior, B and E. This is an obtuse. E is an obtuse angle, and F is vertical to E. That's 140. So we found all of the missing angles. That's all you have to do. Name all pairs of vertical angles. So 40 degrees and C. Then we're going to have A, angle A, and B. Then on the bottom, we have D and G, right across from each other, meeting in the middle. And then E, angle E, and angle F. All right, those are all vertical angles. They meet in the middle. Why are angles A and F congruent? So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my highlighter because I want to make sure that I'm not confused about any of this. So angle A, that's what they want right there, and F. So take a look at those angles and see if you could kind of think about what the relationship between those angles are. Are they inside the parallel lines? That means they're not alternate interior. Are they outside the parallel lines? Yes, they are. They're outside and across from. So remember, they're alternate exterior. Angles. They are outside the parallel lines and across from each other. Alternate exterior angles. All right, find all the missing angles and name all the pair of the vertical angles. Why are 6 and 7 congruent? There's a lot of questions. And so right now, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that the 140 degrees, just everything here, the vertical angles meet in the middle and everything like that. Hopefully you got all of that down, and all of this down as well. All right. Remember, vertical angles meet directly in the middle. So if you could draw a little dot in the middle, just like that, that's basically identifies that you have vertical angles. All right, and A and F are alternate exterior angles because they're across from each other and outside. So here we go with the next one. Remember, this is an obtuse angle. Obtuse angles are large. So angle 2 is a large angle. I know that's 142 degrees. No work involved. Take a look at number 6, large angle, 142. That's obtuse. And angle 7 is large, 142. All right, so we found for obtuse angles. Obtuse, remember, it's part of a straight line. So we're going to take 180 minus the 42, and we're going to grab our calculator just to make sure. 180 minus 142 is 38 degrees. So we know that this is 38 degrees. So that means all acute angles are the same. They're 38 degrees. So do you see 3 other acute angles? You should. Angle 1 and angle 4, they're 38 degrees. Angle 4 acute, angle 5 acute, 38 degrees. Angle 5 is acute, angle 8 is acute, 38 degrees. We are finished with finding the missing angles. Let me move this up just a little bit, and we're going to name angles. Remember, vertical angles they meet in the middle. So I'm going to draw that dot right there. They meet directly in the middle. So 2 and 142, angles 2 and 142 degrees. Angle 1 and angle 4, vertical. Angle 5 and angle 8, they meet in the middle. Angle 6 and angle 7, and that's it. Why are angles 6 and 7 congruent? Let's look. Oh, we already named them as vertical angles. They meet in the middle. All right, why are angles 1 and 5 congruent? Look, same location, upper left of the bottom. So same location corresponding. And their corresponding angles. Why are 4 and 5 congruent? Inside the parallel lines and across from each other. Inside the parallel lines and across from each other. Those are alternate interior angles. And that is basically everything. All right, so we're going to create a summary, and the summary is going to identify all the vertical angles and state the 2 important facts you know about these angles, and then how can you identify supplementary angles in 2 parallel lines cut by a transversal. And basically angles 1 and 4, they meet directly in the middle. 2 and 3 meet directly in the middle, just where I have my let me try to do this right here. That's where they would meet directly in the middle. 6 and 7, 5 and 8. And that is basically it. Vertical angles meet directly in the middle. Vertical angles are congruent to each other. So those are important facts that you have to remember about vertical angles. And then how can you identify supplementary angles in 2 parallel lines? Well, remember, you're picking an obtuse and one acute angle. Do not pick the seam. They add up to be 180 degrees. They should be in a straight line, but there are some that are not directly next to each other. So if just an example, angle 1 is an acute angle. And angle 2, let's see if we have, that's an acute angle, angle 1, and an obtuse like angle 6, even though they're not next to each other, they still, angle 1 and angle 6, not next to each other, you see, they're still supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are 180 degrees. They do not have to be next to each other, but one has to be acute, one has to be obtuse. So basically finding all of the missing angles right here. So they start you off with 153, and we are going to try to erase that. Yes. Okay. So 153, notice about 153, that is an obtuse angle. Obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees. So, okay, so here's 150 degrees, 153 degrees, and the other obtuse angle that I see is 153. Do we see more obtuse angles down here? Yes, angle 6 is 153, and angle 7 is 153. Now we have left, all we have left, they're all acute angles. So we're just going to do 180 minus 153. We're going to bring up the calculator. 180 minus 153. And you're entering 27 degrees. So you can put down 27 degrees for angle 5. Small angle, acute angle, angle 8. Acute angle, angle 4. And acute angle, angle 1. All right, name all pairs of vertical angles. Again, I'm going to go ahead and put the middle part right there because they meet directly in the middle. And we're going to go angle 1 and angle 4. Angle 153, 153 degrees, and angle 2. Angle 7 and angle 6 and angle 8 and 5. Why are 6 and 7 congruent? We said they are vertical angles. They meet in the middle. Why are 1 and 5 congruent? 1 and 5, 1 and 5, they're corresponding angles. And angles 4 and 5 are alternate interior. And that's it. So for the next page, we're going to find what is the measure of angle 7. We do not have to find the entire thing here. So we're just going for angle 7. So this right here is the angle that we are given. So it's 137 degrees. This is angle 7. So just looking at the type of angle it is that these are. 137 degrees is an obtuse angle. What's angle 7? Is that the same, or is it small, or is it acute? Angle 7 is obtuse. So this is obtuse. This is obtuse. Since they are both the same, they are equal to each other. That's it. Angle 3 and angle 7. Angle 3 and angle, angle 3 and angle 6. I'm just going to go and put angle 3 and angle 6 right here. Take a look at those angles, and are they corresponding? Are they in the same location? No, they're not. They're not in the same location. And then alternate exterior. Are they outside? Are they outside? No, they're inside. Alternate interior? Yes. Vertical, they meet in the middle? No. For that one. And that was the exit assessment. Taking a look at this Explore, that was the exit assessment, but we're going to go a little bit further. The measure of angle A. Angle A is right directly across from the 55 degrees, so those are vertical angles. So we're going to put 55 degrees, and we're going to put 55 degrees here. Angle B is directly across from, and again, they meet in the middle, 65 degrees, so that's 65 degrees. Those are vertical angles. Recognize alternate interior angles. So we're going to have, all right, so there's right here are your parallel lines. Angle C is what you're looking for, and angle D. All right, so just remember, those are the vertical lines. I'm sorry, those are the parallel lines. Here's your transversal. So B and C are going to be equal to each other, and I did not put down 65 degrees for the B. All right, so we found B is 65, so C is 65. They're alternate interior angles. Angle D right now, what's angle D? Like right here is 60. Look at this transversal now. This is 60. So if you add 55, 65, and 60 up, you should be equal to 180 degrees because you see this triangle? And it is. So angle D is 60 degrees. Use supplementary angles to find the measure of angle E. So here's where we're talking about right now. This is the straight line. So we're just going to go 180. I'll do it over here. 180 minus 60. And that is 120. E is 120 degrees. And that should be because that angle is obtuse. Use corresponding angles to find the measure of angle F. Well, I could, first off, you could use corresponding angles. Right? So 60 and F, they're in the same location, so it's 60 degrees. But you could also find the measure by saying that D and F are vertical. So, but it's 60 degrees, just like that. Is there another way to find angle E? Yes, there is. Just remember that you could find angle E by saying that they're supplementary, or you could do it pretty much any way where 180 minus the 60, like I said, with that 120 right there. And you could say that 55 plus 65, which is 120, these angles right here, they are corresponding angles. So you could find corresponding angles as well. All right, you could use corresponding. And then is there another way to find angle F? Yes, we already mentioned that, vertical. Vertical to D. Okay, I hope that helped, and thank you for watching. Remember, use the video, this short video of the all the angle vocabulary that we're using with the parallel lines. I'll definitely, it definitely will help, and I'll attach it to your homework or lesson and stuff like that. So just look for that video. It's about 11 minutes long. And as always, I hope this definitely helped. And any questions, please feel free to ask. All right. Thank you for watching.